So Faith, I would love to turn it back over to you because there has been some effort for a while underway to help equip schools to do a better job in educating
Mhm.
their pupils, if
Uh-huh.
you will. So we've had some other champion survivors. Do you want to talk a little bit about about Aaron's Law, and then some of the work that you're doing to help close these gaps in the school systems?
Sure. And I'll start by saying Aaron's Law is the household name in Illinois. So most people who have heard of um, sexual abuse prevention in schools, that's the name they know. There's here in Texas, there's a survivor named Jenna. Her law passed. Here it's Jenna's law. It passed in 2009. Aaron's law was a year or two later, and it has passed. Some form of that type of abuse prevention curriculum type of law has passed in over half of the states. So like you said, there is a shift, and there is more awareness now than there was 10 years ago, which is good. Um, in Illinois, we're actually working right now, not in Faith's law, but in another, effort to strengthen Aaron's law so that it is for more grades and so that it's a shall instead of a may for the curriculum for students. Just because there are a lot of stakeholders, for example, from the Make Safe Task Force that met last year that wanted to strengthen the existing law. So yes, she is a champion for children that has helped. And the one area where I have seen um, that to go beyond what is in Aaron's law, as far as that focuses on training the children, which is an important component. Where I was failed wasn't, children being trained or not, it was bystanders not being aware of those dangerous
That's
warning signs. So
right.
the legislation that I have been more behind with Representative Michelle Messman is more so to draw attention to the personnel so that they know what those warning signs are, and like we've talked about, to lower that threshold so that instead of just waiting for someone to be criminally charged, which is very difficult because of underreporting and because of evidence. And like I said, if you have a 17-year-old who's not willing to come out against her abuser, that's very hard to go after a criminal case depending on what other components are there. So the goal there is to lower the threshold, so instead of everything hinging on criminal charges, you can still have definitions of inappropriate behaviors that could constitute grooming that we're labeling sexual misconduct, so that maybe you're not being criminally charged with something, but you can be dismissed or disciplined for, those inappropriate, unprofessional behaviors like making sexual jokes with a student, or um,
That's
I'm
right.
trying to think what else is there, dating, soliciting a date, going for those one-on-one outside of your professional role meetings where you're isolating the student in an effort to lure them into unlawful sexual behavior. So there's some other components as well, where we strengthen the criminal code. So right now in Illinois, it is legal for a teacher to have sex with a student who is 18 and up. So there's no recourse for parents if they find out that their teacher is sleeping with their 18-year-old child. There's nothing that can be done criminally. So that is another component that I was very big on when I first reached out to Representative Mussman, was that needs to be fixed because the nature of the trust and the power differential makes it abusive. I don't care. When I went to school when I was 17 and then the next day I turned 18, it's just as abusive. Nothing changed. I didn't get to refer to my teacher as his first name and go out, socially. He was still in charge of me. I'm still mandated to be in his class, like Terri said. He still has power over me and my future. So we need to protect students from predatory behavior there. So that's another thing that was very important to me, was protecting those older students, because I don't think most parents, anyone I've talked to that lives in Illinois who has children, is shocked that that's still legal. I don't think parents know. And one of the things that really
Yeah.
scares me is what do the parents of my peers think who didn't know this was going on? And my school hid this and put it under the rug when this person, they let him resign. And when it came out with my delayed outcry, they gave very selective facts to the newspaper. And I just wonder, if I'm a parent of one of my best friends, what am I thinking about how the school hid this? They saw these warning signs. They tried to investigate it internally. They never reported to DCFS. Then they find out a teacher was having sex with a student. They let him resign, and no one knew. No one knew. And I mean, again, that's just one of those things. People don't understand that how schools cover their tracks, and some of the nuances to how, especially the criminal charging process takes place.